Hi guys, Lover and Kid here, coming to you again. Welcome back to Chronicles of the Web. The segment where pretty much we take trips down memory lane with it's all about the amazing Spider-Man, the sensational, whichever adjective you want to use for him. So here on episode 3, what did you pull out of your collection today, Chris? For Spidey. So far on the episodes, we talked about the first issue of the Spider-Man's Todd McFarlane's run. We went to a crossover with Spidey, which was really good. I really appreciate everybody putting their comments on that one. That's what I'm looking for, input. And a lot of people wanted, a lot of people enjoyed that episode. One person even asked, will I talk about the second crossover between the two icons? I said you'll probably see it. So, but it's still a crossover. It still has Spider-Man, and so because I think technically that's a Batman crossover. Like the first one was more of a Spider-Man. This one's more of a Batman, but still it's a crossover nonetheless. I'll talk about it on there. But pretty much here on today's one moment. Sorry about that, texting someone. But pretty much here on today's issue, and I'm sorry I'm forgetting not to wear my Spidey shirt. Usually I'll try to always wear my Spidey shirt for the Chronicles of the Web, but here today I'm here to talk about an issue of Spider-Man. We're going to the Web of Spider-Man. Remember that series, the Web of Spider-Man? Remember back in the 90s there were 4 monthly titles for Spidey: Amazing, Spectacular, Spider-Man, and Web. Yeah, I pulled out a Web issue for this time around, and that Web issue is Web of Spider-Man 108. Spidey versus Sandstorm. You guys remember that villain, Sandstorm? Check it out. Yeah. Also guest starring Sandman and Quicksand. This bad boy came out in the 90s because look at the price. If you can get a good look at that price, $125. Good God. This issue back in the 90s, guys. Spidey had a lot of like one and done villains that never returned. They were either one and done, they were maybe accidents, and at the end of the issue they were cured, and then there was always and then sometimes there was another side story in the issue that pretty much dealt with maybe a character that is kind of from the Spider-Man universe or not. This is a prime example of this. Pretty much this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. So let's talk about this bad boy for a minute. All right. First of all, the cover. Let's talk about the cover in a sense. I didn't talk about the covers with the last 2 issues too much, but the cover is pretty kind of epic. Is it misleading? No, it's not, because they kind of throw down in this. But Spidey's not. It's not one-on-one. It's actually Spidey and Sandman in this versus Sandstorm and Quicksand. She was another like sand-based villainess. She's kind of like Sandman, but she's a villainess that she's still around too. She's still around. But in this issue alone, basically in this issue we see that ESU has a bit of a secret to them. There's a little bit of a secret. ESU, Empire State, one of the the fictional universities in the Marvel universe. It's supposed to be NYU, but it's called Empire State, you know, whatever. But you know, the other, as you all know, the other universities are still in the Marvel universe. But in this, there's a deep dark secret that NYU was having experiments, placing experiments, and unfortunately, a student was on the experiment. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He got caught in the explosion of the experiment, and he turned into this guy right here, Quicksand. His real name is Tony Traynor, I believe I'm saying it right. I'm gonna show you a little bit of a little bit, of course, as always, I show a little bit of, the artwork and things like that. And in this issue alone, it's Spidey dealing with the problems of ESU. You know, it's on ESU campus, and not only Spidey's there to deal with it, Sandman is here. Now you got to remember, at one point Sandman was actually an Avenger, and he reformed, and because he was hanging around, he started rolling with Silver Sable at the time. And in this issue alone, we see that Sandman is actually here to help Spider-Man. Sandstorm is so powerful, he can literally hurt Sandman physically, even in his sand form, which was like, whoa, that's like not with water or anything like that, just physical force. That's powerful. And he's so powerful that Sandman can't reform as quick as he usually can. And as you got Quicksand who's kind of motivating the young Tony Taylor to embrace his new powers, in a sense. Almost in a sense, she's the Sith, while Sandman and Spidey are like the Jedi, trying to tell him, calm down, let us help you. Sandman's telling him, look, I've been there, kid, let me help you. Things like that, saying, Quicksand is basically saying, basically enjoying the dark side and things like that. And it kind of showcases that, and it's really well told, in a sense of, especially the way they portrayed Sandman in this really well. I loved how they portrayed Sandman in this. Now, like I said, the writer of this is Terry. I hope I'm pronouncing. I don't want to butcher your name. Terry Tavanaga. I hope I'm saying it right. And artwork is done by Alex Savaku. If I butchered your name, so I apologize. But ESU is a mess. You can see here the labs are just a mess. And that's Marla, Marla Jameson at the time. Well, she was going under she went back under Marla, her maiden name, Madison, at the time. And here you got Sandstorm and, and Spidey in them. He's really kind of confused. He wants to know why they did this to him, and, he's not going to stop until, here's some lines. He basically says, he says, I never meant to kill anybody, but I'm still trying to find myself in the heart of all this, but I won't be captured. I know what's happening. I don't know what's happening to me, and I want to know what's happening to me, and I won't stop for nothing, typical 90s stuff. And Spidey's just trying to reason with him, and you can see, you can see what he's doing to Sandman and things like that. And Sandman's, Spidey's like, get Sandman out of there because he can't reform, as quickly as possible. And Spider-Man's like, Sandman's like, what are you doing, Spidey? And he's like, I'm trying to give you some time so you can pretty much reform, Chuck. We call him that. And he says, pull yourself together. And and then Sandman's basically saying, like, it doesn't matter. I got to get back in there, to calm him down, to help him, and Spidey's like, I see working with Silver Sable has been a good thing for you, but my first concern is ESU and the people around there as well. Get the people out of there. And we see that, he's killing innocent people with his sandstorms and things like that, because his sandstorms can like almost is like shrapnel as well. The sandstorms are so powerful. They're like shrapnel, and they just cut through anything, and you know, and you know, we get to see, like, literally see what he can. I mean, look at what he does to Sandman right here. You know, he literally hurts Sandman, like, and Sandman's hurt. He's really hurt, and you know, he's down for the count for a while, and it's just Spider-Man. And then you got Quicksand here. Here's Quicksand right there. That woman right there. She's like kicking Sandman while he's down, and you know, she's basically saying, her line was, "Your concern for the kid is touching, Sandman. This also makes you easy prey," and things like that. But Spidey and Sandman work well together. They work well together. And also, you see Jameson and Marla, reconnecting with each other as well. And at the end of the issue, it's really short. It's really action-packed. This issue is really action-packed. Sandman and Spidey are able to reverse what has happened to Quicksand, Tony Taylor, Traynor, and he's not in good shape, but he's alive, and Quicksand just scurries off to fight another day. But also the other big thing, which is really interesting, as you can see, here we go. I wanted to show this. MJ, that's a really nice drawing of MJ. Like Mr. Savaku, I hope I'm saying the name right, does a good job. But this was at the time where Mary Jane, MJ, was really smoking a lot. She really started picking up the smoking again, which I never was a big fan of. I never thought Mary Jane should be smoking, and Peter never liked it. And her biggest concern was, I gotta. I love her line where she says, "I gotta quit smoking. It's gonna kill me. I'll stop tomorrow," and things like that. I gotta start. It was really sad to see that. I've always never liked that. Never liked seeing Mary Jane smoke. It was just like why are you smoking? I don't like smoking, period. I don't smoke, and I've never liked it anyway. I don't like the smell. I don't like being around people who smoke, because I got a big sensitive noses anyway, and it's like an old saying from one of my favorite sitcoms, smoking is not really good for you. It makes your breath stink, your lungs dirty, but it's true. So, it's I never did like Mary Jane smoking, and you
kind of see that, she's getting calls from her agent telling her about parts and things like that, and and she's like, I'm dealing with this, and I gotta stop smoking and things like that. But the first story, like I said, was one and done, very action packed. You saw the cool team-up connection between Sandman and Spider-Man, which was good. Like I said, it was a one-and-done villain. Back in the 90s, you saw that a lot with Peter, Spider-Man, especially in the four, like, besides his mainstay of villains, his rogues, there were these, like, one-and-done villains. And sometimes I wish they weren't, because this could have been a cool concept, a better, if they really kind of wanted to keep this character around. I think Sandstorm would have been a major threat to Peter, in terms of like one of his major villains besides Green Goblin and Venom and the Kingpin and Hobgoblin, I said Hobgoblin, and Carnage, and Doc Ock, Electro, all his Kraven, all those people like that. To me, Kraven will always be his most deadliest enemy. But I think Sandstorm would have been another great addition to his most dangerous villains in his rogue. And then of course there was a series, a mini series, like a short story based on the character Cardiac. Remember the character Cardiac? We seen him brought back. Marvel brought him back. It was really good to see Marvel bring Cardiac back in Spider-Man.
and we saw a one and done story about him. The story was written by Carl Potts, and the artwork was done by Jesse Drula Zoke. If I butcher these names, I apologize. And pretty much, Cardiac, he's a doctor. He's still a doctor at heart, but he also is a kind of a vigilante, and it's cool. And in this story, he's dealing with, as you can see, he's dealing with the Scorpion, dealing with, Matt Gargan, Scorpion. I did not really appreciate the artwork was decent enough, but I don't think Matt Gargan should be looking like he's almost bulimic as well, but muscular at the same time, which is kind of strange. But in this issue, in this short story, Cardiac is dealing with in the backstory issue, he's dealing with a company that's dealing with anti-cancer drugs, but they weren't FA approved by the foundation, the doctors, getting the stamp of approval by the company, and people are, it's helping, but it's still going against everything he stands for. In a sense, it's dealing with the Hippocratical oath, in terms of the Hippocratical oath of a doctor. I hope I'm saying that right. And he's dealing with that, and it's kind of a one and done story, but these people have hired, he's discovered that the drug is having some major side effects to it. It's not FA approved, it's FAD approved, excuse me. And they've hired some heavy, some heavy hitter. They have hired Scorpion to deal with the threat, who is Cardiac. And unfortunately, Cardiac is able to deal with Gargan. It's kind of funny. He basically welded, as you can see right here, he welded Scorpion's tail to the wiring of an elevator, and the elevator's going down, and Scorpion gets synced into the elevator. It doesn't kill him, but it was a good diversion. Get him so he can get to the main head of the guy, and the guy's just like, wait, I'll read it right here for you. He's like, wait, if you kill me, the jobs of hundreds of honest, hard-working employees will be jeopardized. When word of this scandal gets out, my company is going to be soiled, and my company, and all the value of all the valuable medicine, supply of patients who use the medication, things like that. And he's like, and Carter's like, he's like, maybe you kind of look at it like, if you first read it, you're like, okay, you're not buying this crap, are you, Cardiac? And you know what I'm saying. He's you can see like the dude's sweating shitstorms here. Look at this. Like you can see he's sweating bullets, and he's like, he's basically like, what I'm saying is true. And Cardiac's like, yes, but a major act of malevolence, inhumanity must be punished. And he shoots him with his, his rod, kills the guy. But basically, he buys the shares of the company that, and pretty much keeps all the workers employed, which was really cool. It's like he still did a good deed in a sense. He may have taken out the bad, the corrupt, blue, white collar dude, but he did still do a good thing for the, the workers, the honest workers. And that was a good one and done story. I really enjoyed that. It was really fun to reread this bad boy again. But overall, Web of Spider-Man number 108, very interesting indeed. If you remember this issue, tell me what you thought about this. If you need to go, you know what? I like this stuff, Chris. Let me go back into my collection and reread these, the issues that you're presenting to us. But as a Spider-Man fan, you know, it's always just a pleasure to read the classic Spidey stuff, no matter what. And it was really fun. And you can tell it's classic because, I mean, if you look at Spidey, he's got the web under his underarm, which I know a lot of people don't like. They never liked his costume having the webbing, the webbing under his underarm. And, I didn't mind it. It is what it is, but it's cool. It was fun. But you guys tell me what you thought about Web of Spider-Man number 108. I will be back next time for another edition of Chronicles of the Web. Once again, like I said, you'll never know what I'm going to pull out until that video is uploaded. So I will never show you what I'm going to pull out. You never know what it's going to be. It could be this, it could be that. Well, I will give you a hint. Today, I'll give you a hint. It will be another. It will be another Spidey crossover. I'll give you that. It will be another Spidey crossover, but will it be the next Batman? No, too far ahead. Too early. Maybe I'll hit that probably at possible the 20th episode or so. But for the 4th episode, it will be another crossover. You know what? What the hell? I'll show it to you what it is. This time, I will show it to you guys. The next crap. I can't. Oh crap! I had it. The next no. Don't mind me, guys. You gotta be kidding. What am I doing? I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I had the game book. Oh well, I'll find it. I'll find it later, guys. But I'll tell you what it is. The next crossover, I can't believe I can't find it. I had the dang thing too. Put it. I can't find it. Well, anyway, the next crossover will be. The next episode will be another crossover between Spidey and those classic characters that are now part of DC now. But when I was loving them when they were still part of the Wildstorm universe. And that is none other than Spidey and Gen 13. I will be reviewing that next time on Chronicles of the Web. I did enjoy that. So I will see you guys next time. I apologize for you seeing me look through my collection. I had it there. It was right there. But I'll find it later. But until then, keep your heads up high as always, Spidey fans. Stay true and loyal to your heroes, including the Webhead. No matter what they go through, stay loyal as I do. And other than that, this is Mumford & Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real, guys. As always, thank you for watching. This is Chronicle of the Web. I will see you guys next time.